you say that in terms of material and inspiration, India is an easier country in which to be a writer than, say, France or England?
Absolutely. In fact, I mean, I think the grief about India and writing is that we are not even beginning to tap into the million stories waiting to be told. I mean, India is an unbelievable, mine for writers. The challenge of writing India in English is the problem. The thing is that the English language is a language that, in a sense, reflects the virtues of the people who created it. Right. The virtues of the English language are understatement, irony, all of which you deploy brilliantly. Understatement, irony, cool, But the reality of India, or the subcontinent, why just India, is exactly the opposite. I mean, the Indian reality is melodramatic, sentimental, overblown, noisy, colorful. That's the kind of people we are. The languages that we have created are all, in a sense, fashioned to carry our reality. Urdu, Hindi, these are floriferous languages. They're overblown. I mean, in Urdu or Hindi, in a single line, you would compare your beloved to the moon, the flower, the sun. I mean, these are languages where where the overblown is all right. But in English, it isn't. So when you try and carry this incredibly noisy, overblown reality into a language which is really not created to carry it, it becomes a huge challenge. As a novelist, I can tell you that is the single greatest challenge. And writers have tried to crack it. I mean, G.V. Desani famously in the 1940s wrote a book called All About H. Hatter, which then went underground and was lost to the world till it was reissued in the 1980s. I remember I had to dig it out with great difficulty when I was in college. I find an old copy from somewhere and read it, because it was out of print for 40 years. But when it was published in the 1940s, T.S. Eliot praised it as a real masterpiece. And what Desani had really done was this incredible pastiche. He's kind of mixed up Shakespeare in English and street lingo from India. Then we had Rushdie himself in 1979, 1980 doing Midnight's Children. So writers have attempted to crack that problem of carrying a reality in a different language and seeing how you can bend the language or narrative forms to carry that reality. When it comes to me, what I struggle with is actually trying to get the street argot, the street language, onto the page, which is a great challenge, again, for a writer.
Well, I mean, of course, the truth is that 65 years after the British left India, English is thriving in India like never before. How do you explain that? Is it?
No, because see, that's both. As I said, the language issue, the English language issue in India is a peculiar thing. It's both a great affirmation and a great tragedy. And actually, I deal with that in the story of My Assassins. One of my characters becomes a kind of metaphor for the fault line. I think English in India is a fault line. It's just like caste is a fault line and religion is a fault line.
Right.
English is a fault line. So
it's almost a linguistic caste system.
It is absolutely. It's a fault line. It's a caste system. There's a linguistic caste system. If you're born into English, then you start way ahead of the class. And if you're not born into English, then you start way behind. And the first class indicator in India, as we all know, is English.
Right.
So whether you come from English or not. And that's fine for people like you and me who are born into English. But those who are not can be devastated by it.